Welcome into the greatest podcast in sports betting entertainment. My name is Tanner Kern, certified G, bona fide stud, and you can't teach that. In this right here, this is G Money Grant Mitchell. He is back in the flesh today on Monday, July 15th, and you can't teach that. Bada boom, man of the people in the room. Grant, how you feeling, first of all?
I'm feeling really good, Tanner. I told you off mic, and I'm sure I'll let the people behind the curtain a little bit, but I had a very good weekend betting-wise, so still riding high on cloud nine from that. And, of course, we've got the drop of college football today. So it's a very good day over here in the Mitchell household.
Yeah, it's a very good day because we finally, 11 years later, we get college football 25 at 4 p.m. today. The EA servers will 100% be down, and we're going to break all of it down in a minute here. We're going to talk Dynasty, Road to Glory, what we're doing, what you guys are doing. We want to hear. But before we do that, you need to go to the subscribe button and absolutely smash it, just like I'm going to be smashing the run game today in college football 25. Hammer the rock, 6 plays like Novocaine. Works every time.
So you were over in Vegas in the weekend. How was that?
It was fun. I lost a good chunk of money. I lost $400 on blackjack within like 4 minutes. It was like I played 2 different rounds, 200 a time. I lost pretty much every sports bet I placed this weekend. But like blackjack, I took $200 out, lost it, $200 out, lost it. And I was pretty much playing on a table where the first time I played on a table solo, lost. I made every right move. Just dealer was pulling 20s, 21s. I was pulling 19s and 20s, honestly. Like every time I had 20, he had one card better. And then I played again, and I had a dumbass on the table with me who she literally, and I should have got up. It's my own fault, but I was kind of like, I had lost $100 like that. And I'm like, I'm the chances of me going to another table and making a run here, it's slim. Again, I probably should have, but I was already just defeated from the weekend. And she didn't hit like 14 against 7. It was 10s. She wasn't hitting 14s against them. And she was thinking about it. Like, what the fuck are you thinking about? There's nothing to think about. You just have to hit it. You need to think he has a 10 under there. And then I had there was a kid next to me who was like, I'm not like, I know what to do. You know, like a kid had soft set. Like I thinking about it. I know what to do. Like kid had a soft 17. He's not doubling a soft 17 against bus card. Like, what are you doing? Like, that's just be boom. And then by the end, he's asking me, what should I do? What should I do? So I felt good about it. That was my one saving grace. I helped him out a little bit. But the girl on the end of the table should never play blackjack again. I don't know if she's let her listen to the podcast, but if you were sitting at Circa on the second table back from the left, you should never play blackjack.
I haven't played blackjack at a casino in a long time. I've got a friend of mine though. You're not from here, obviously, but have you heard of the MGM in the National Harbor?
Yeah, that's the one that everyone goes to down in the DMV. It's a track.
So
and Maryland Live. Yes,
also. Exactly. But the MGM's the big one, and I got a buddy of mine who goes to that place religiously. And I mean, you know, we work in sports betting, so we know it's an industry that is skewed against you. You're supposed to lose. If you're smart enough, you know, you can be one of the 2-3% that makes money. That's what we're in. And I won't claim to be able to do that with blackjack or other card games because I can't, but he actually can. Like he can consistently go win at blackjack. And so he makes trips at least a couple times a week. And I mean, he's pretty profitable doing it.
Is he counting cards?
No, I don't know what he's doing. He's just got it. I don't know if it's a mind game thing or what, but he's just got to figure it out.
You got to be willing to go in the hole. That's the biggest thing. Like, so for example, I lost 400 in, 2 minutes. So realistically, I could have took out another $400 and like, I wouldn't do this, but if I lose 400, I could just take a $400 bet, put it down. If I win that, I'm back. I'm down 800. Then I could put 800 down and they're still going to take the bet. Until you get up to a point where you can't be doing $5,000, $10,000 hand. But say you're on like a $5 blackjack table or a $10 blackjack table and you start with a $10 hand, you lose it, like put 20 down, then, that would probably be my approach, I guess, if you're trying to make money. But I don't know. I hate black. I hate table. I like them, but they're fun when you're winning. When you're losing, they're not fun.
I just like sports betting, and I had a very good weekend. Like I said, on Sunday, all my bets were on Sunday. I don't think I bet anything on Saturday, but on Sunday I had the Euro final earlier in the day. I had a 3-leg parlay plus 459 odds. I had Spain to win by any means. I had under 3.5 goals. There ended up being 3, and I had Lamine Yamal goal or assist that cashed. Then in the Copa final in the evening, I had no goals scored in 90 minutes. Oh, and you'll appreciate the logic behind this one. So I had already won my parlay for the day. I wasn't going to bet on anything else that day. Oh, and I also had a futures on Argentina to win the Copa, which ended up hitting. So I wasn't going to place another bet on the Copa final. But then the start was supposed to be at 7, and then it got delayed to 8 because of Biden's speech, which I couldn't even find on TV. I was looking for it to see why the Copa was delayed. I couldn't even find it. But then the kickoff got delayed to 8:30, and then 8:45, and then 9:15. And I said, okay, that we are like almost 2.5 hours behind when the opening kickoff was supposed to actually happen. As a former athlete, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about here, Tanner. Your preparation, your routine, it's so important. And the fact that the Copa has just been a bloodbath, 2 South American countries, you know, it's going to be this very fierce rivalry. And now we're 2 hours off of the time schedule. I said, this is going to be an ugly game, no goals. So I threw that bet down, and that ended up cashing.
It's a good idea, Grant. It's a good idea. I'm proud of you.
I
probably wouldn't. I agree with that from the athlete mentality. I wouldn't have thought of that. I'm not a soccer guy, but I probably wouldn't have thought of that. So I think that's a smart play by you. Obviously, you want a lot of money there. And soccer fans, like the Copa soccer fans, I mean, they're breaking into Hard Rock Stadium. They destroyed it. It's destroyed.
Yeah. Did you see the picture of the escalator area?
I don't even know how you do that. Like, what are you doing? Did you take like rocks and like smash them through it?
So I don't know how that got broken, but I saw that they pushed over the gates at the very front. They were able to storm in. Some people were climbing over the walls. I don't know if you saw this, but people were climbing through the air vents. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that. It's crazy just to get into the game. Probably tickets were wicked expensive too. That was another reason people were sneaking in.
Oh yeah, I bet there were the worst seats. There were probably a few $1,000s. I bet.
Oh yeah, had to be. Grant, I got to share a ticket here. I'm gonna share something from Twitter. We can talk about this guy. This will be our first topic of the day when it comes to soccer.
Okay.
$987,000 England bettor declined these bids from potential buyers. So he had $17,000 on Scotty Masters Celtics Championship, England to win the Euros. $987,000. He declined $230,000 on prop swap for again in the semifinals when they were against Netherlands. Then he had another $400,000 offer this Friday, and then the $382,000 cash out offer. I don't care how much money you're worth per se. Like that's got to hurt. That's got to sting a little bit.
So I commend this person for being a gambler. This is not the stock market. You know, we don't do slow gains. If you're gambling, you have to be ready to accept loss. I rarely cash out. And actually I cashed out 2 weeks ago out of a parlay for the first time in a long time. And the parlay ended up hitting. And I felt like an idiot because I lost half my money. So I usually advise against cashing out, because if you're a gambler, first of all, you have to just accept the risk. And if you lose the money, you lose the money. If you're betting smart, then your bankroll, you'll be fine. But for that amount, and above all else, England has been so shit in this tournament, or at least they had been, because the tournament's now over. But they didn't win a game in the group stage. And the group stage is the easiest part of the whole competition. They didn't beat anybody. I don't think they scored more than 2 goals in one game. They were 1 minute away from losing to Slovakia. They got saved by a bicycle kick in the 95th minute. You look at all of their games, they've fallen behind. They've been terrible. They've had to come from behind to win. And Spain has clearly been the best team at that tournament. So if you've got a $400,000 offer on the table with that looming in the background, I'm taking that cash out 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, and I don't care how much you're worth too. If you can turn $17,000 into $400,000, you're going to be happy. You could be worth billions of dollars. That's a hell of a win when it comes to sports betting. I was listening to Charles Barkley talk about his gambling problem earlier today. So why he stopped gambling. He's like, I was trying to win $1 million, right? And then I realized, well, if I win $200,000, I had a great weekend, and he's worth a ton of money, right? So, you know, I was reading a lot of comments on this too. It's like people were saying, if you put down $17,000, like, so what? Like, no, if you put down $17,000 and you win 400, you did an amazing job.
Yeah, 100%. Like that's what, a $380,000 profit. Who's complaining about that?
Nobody's complaining about that. It doesn't matter how much you're worth. Nobody's complaining about that when it comes to gambling. So, anyways, Grant, that was soccer. Let's talk a little college football 25 here. What's the first thing you do? 4 o'clock comes. What are the odds that the server is going to be broken? I think it's like 90% servers down at 4 o'clock.
So I would actually say maybe today isn't the day that the servers go down, because correct me if I'm wrong here. It only comes out at 4 p.m. today, or you're only able to play if you have EA Play on Xbox. Is that right?
No, every bundle, like every pre-order bundle, gets it today at 4.
I thought you had to have EA Play to get it today, and then the deluxe, if you didn't have EA Play, you could play tomorrow.
No, I think it's everybody. Everybody gets it today at 4 if you bought the deluxe bundle.
Oh, okay. Well, if that's the case, then probably within 20 to 30 minutes, I would say the servers are going down. The only reason I would not guarantee it is because I don't think this isn't a totally online dependent game. There are going to be a lot of people doing offline modes, so you don't really need the servers for that. But I mean, there's still probably a pretty good chance they do go down.
You know the stupid thing about how the Xbox works now, like you need online. Like even to log into the game now, you need, like, you can't just play, at least for Madden, you can't just play unless you're playing like Play Now, I think, which is stupid. So like to buy an Xbox, you need to buy online mode. You need to buy Xbox Gold, which is crazy. It's not like it used to be. No, they're taking money from us, but there's such a demand for this game. I think servers will definitely be down. Like last year, I bought Madden for the early release on like whatever Monday or Tuesday it came out. Like the servers were gone all night. They didn't come back to like early morning, like 2, 3 a.m. I'm not doing that. And that's why I bought it early, to play it early.
By the way, this game may kill Madden for the next few years. If this game is as good as it looks, like Madden sucks. I would say, I mean, you play Madden. I don't play Madden anymore, but I assume it hasn't changed. Like 70-80% of the plays are borderline unusable. They're passes, they're just pass routes that you can't throw to. There's certain run plays you can't do. And if you're not usering correctly on defense, the game just stinks. There's glitches everywhere. You can't run with the quarterback because he's going to fumble. You can't throw while you're running because he's going to throw it 10 yards over the receiver.
Yeah, no, Madden's terrible. I think this game is probably the best thing that's going to happen for Madden, because it's going to force the Madden team to step their game up next year. Because next year, college football 25 is going to be college football 26. It's going to look very similar. There's not going to be a lot of changes, because you really can't make a lot of changes to that game after you work on it for 11 years. But Madden can really be taken to the next level. So I think we're going to see a whole new upgrade Madden next year and the next year, because the reason I think this year sales will be good for Madden, because you're bundling college football 25 and Madden. I think a lot of people did that because it's a really good deal when you think about everything, especially if you like Ultimate Team. But next year, the bundle might not be as sought after, because college football 25 is not new. It's going to be college football 26 and a standalone game. So I think it's the best thing that's going to happen for Madden.
You know what's something that I've never done before that I'd be interested to try? If I get through a whole road to glory and my guy does 4 years wherever, and then he goes to the NFL, you can export him to the next Madden. And I've never done that before. So that would be pretty cool. I'm not a big Madden career mode guy, but I would still like to see how it looks.
Well, the Madden career mode, and I stopped playing it last year. I don't know if so like, I can't stand this whole like, fake cut screens, like talk to your agent kind of stuff. Like, I just want to play the game. And I think from what I've seen, at least, like Road to Glory doesn't have a lot of the cut screen stuff. It's like, you got to train, you got to prep. Like, that's what I want. I don't need any of the cut screen stuff. I want to play games. So everyone's kind of like Road to the Show with MLB. And I know a lot of people like that. They've ruined it with all these like cut screens, talking to the manager and stuff. Like, just get in. I just want to hit. That's all I want to do.
Well, so this is the thing with the cutscenes. I almost wouldn't mind them if the choices you made in the cutscene, if it was like a real world type deal where there are 4 different options, and depending on what you pick, something different happens in your story. The fact you're just like, they're just saying, they call you in to have a conversation and you only have one option and you press that as your response to it. Then it just gets like, what's the point of this?
Yeah, it'll be like there's like a cocky option, and then there's like a complacent, and they're cocky, and then there's like a calm option, and it doesn't change. It's like, okay, well, if you hit a home run now, you get more XP. Like, it's just, I don't like that aspect of career mode, but I'm very excited about dynasty mode. I think I'm going to start out as the UConn offensive coordinator, and I'm going to work my way up, and I'm playing it legit. That's and one loss. I'm a big guy. Like when I start losing, I'll be like rage quit and then like restart against the computer. But I can't this year. I'm committing. I'm saying I'm not doing that. All legit because I only have to win 7 games to go to a bowl or 6.
So this is my thing, and I was explaining this to you before we started recording, but I've got an online dynasty in the wait with about 7-8 guys, and we're all committed to it, and I know it's going to go fine, but this is my thing. We've agreed that we're going to have games done every Wednesday and every Sunday, and if you don't, then the commissioner forces the advance in the week. But, depending on how long you're playing, especially, again, I'm not a huge gamer anymore because of my schedule, but I'm going to be playing this week just because I want to see what it's like. I'm going to have more time than just play my one game and we're done. So I don't know if I want to start an offline dynasty because balancing both of those are big time commitments. And I want to try out Road to Glory. My guess is I'm going to try offline dynasty and Road to Glory today and just kind of see what I like better and go with that. But I it's just a little thing in the back of my head. And also with an offline dynasty, I'm with you. I think I would want to go coordinator when we're doing the online, like we're all going to be head coaches. I think I would want to go coordinator and then see what I can do from there.
Yeah, I think the coordinator. See, I hate playing defense. Like I'm not a defensive guy that much. So I just want to play offense. That's why I like doing the offense coordinator. Even when I'm a head coach, like I usually just sim defense and play offense.
See, I would love to take over Virginia Tech, but I feel like they're too good. I mean, they're what are they ranked 17th overall or something in this game?
Yeah, they're really good. Bordeaux, he's a YouTube gamer. Yeah. So he got his ass kicked by whatever for
Donovan Edwards.
That was so bad. Like that was terrible. But he took Nebraska, and I know it was like the beta game, so he was doing like a rebuild. I think he wanted to go through it pretty quickly. But like Nebraska, I don't classify Nebraska as a rebuild at all because you're able to land 4-star kids.
Right, and it's a legacy program.
Yeah, you already have the prestige, you have the legacy. I know you're not great in the Big Ten, but you can land 4-star recruits. Like a rebuild, I look at that like if you get a 3-star recruit, like you've done exceptionally well. Where Bordeaux's whole first recruiting class on the video, it was like 17 4-star recruits, 1 5-star, and then a few 3-stars.
So I saw they did make some changes to recruiting from the beta that you saw a lot of the YouTubers playing and the one that's actually launching. Like I know there was a way you could get, if you were a bottom of the barrel school, you could land a 5-star. Now it was very exclusive. It had to be where how they have deal breakers in this game for the recruiting aspect. A deal breaker had to be proximity and you had to be like right next to them. But there was a way for you to land a 5. They've taken that out of the game. I know it's impossible to land 5 stars if you're not a big school. And supposedly it is very hard now to land 4s if you're not a big school, which makes sense. That's how it should be. So maybe it's a little different with that from Nebraska. But then again, Nebraska has the legacy. They have the prestige. So I'm with you. I think if you're going to do a true rebuild, I'm not one of these guys who's going to say you have to pick the worst team. You have to set it to the highest difficulty. You have to turn XP to the lowest setting or development. You don't have to do all that. But I would say the rules are no ranked teams, no regular contenders, no historical programs. Like pick something outside of that realm, and that's a rebuild.
Yeah, like if you're going to play as a Power 5 team or whatever, what is it? It's not even the Power 5. What do we call it? Power 3 now?
I just say power, honestly.
Power conferences, yeah. So if you're a power conference, you need to go to the bottom of the power conferences to a team that just moved in. But I think a rebuild, like if you're looking for a true rebuild in this game, you got to start with a mid-major program. And if you want to build them up, like you need to work your way into a conference. I don't know does it work? Do you think it works in the sense of like if I win for like 5 straight years in the Pac or the Conference USA, then I'm going to get an invite to the Big East or not Big East, Big 10, Pac-12 kind of thing?
With conference realignment, you mean?
Yeah. Or do you have to realign it at the beginning and then that's the way it stays?
I don't actually know. I don't know. I mean, you could, if you wanted to, you could just see after. I mean, this would be a long way to find out. You could honestly just like start a dynasty, don't do anything, just simulate it, get to the end of the year, and then see at the start of next year, is there an option for you to manually realign the conferences? Because maybe that would be the way. You can set yourself a milestone, like I got to win or I got to get to 5 bowl games in a row, and then I'll put myself in the Big 10 or whatever.
Yeah, I'm pumped to use UConn though, because at least I know I can schedule like a wicked hard independent schedule. I don't need to play.
So is UConn, how's the recruiting area around UConn for football?
It's fine. Like with hotbeds, you mean?
Yeah, like because you got Pennsylvania there, I guess.
Pennsylvania is where they recruit. I feel like they primarily UConn recruits all over the country. Like, UConn gets a lot of Florida kids. It's pretty much all East Coast, Texas a little bit, but you're getting the second tier kids in those areas, third tier probably now. UConn's a good football program. Like they have been good in the past. They're not, I shouldn't say that. They're not a good football program right now, but they've been good in the past. They have the facilities to compete. And the other thing that helps UConn is the fact that people know what UConn is because of their basketball program. Like it's a basketball school, but at least I know this is the University of Connecticut. Like I can identify with it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Me and my buddies from the online dynasty I was telling you about, we're all ordering shirts of our college, and we're gonna wear them while we're playing.
That's awesome. Well, anything else, Grant, about college football 25 before we talk about the home run derby?
No, you took the words out of my mouth. I was gonna say, let's talk about the big thing that's going on Monday.
MLB does All-Star Weekend correct. Very few sports do their All-Star Weekend well, or their Pro Bowl. Major League Baseball has mastered All-Star Weekend. They make it a standalone event in the summer, home run derby Monday, All-Star game Tuesday, and all eyes are on this game and the home run derby. They do a fantastic job.
I agree, except for the fact that I didn't like how the home run derby itself had gone down the last few years. They've made some changes. I don't know if you saw those, but it's back to a format that I like better, where you're getting more of the head-to-head. And also it's the limited pitch count thing is big for me, because was it last year with Adley Rutschman? He was clobbering them, but his pitcher, who I think was his dad, was throwing them so slowly that his score was low. But if you look at home runs per pitch, like he was probably the best in the competition.
So what's the rule is there's no bracket play in the first round. There's only bracket in the semifinals. You can only see 40 pitches.
So you start with 8. In the first round, there's no bracket, nothing. It's just the top 4 scores move on. You get 3 minutes or 40 pitches, whichever comes first. After that, you have the semifinals, and it does become a bracket: 1 versus 4, 2 versus 3, based on the scores from the first round. Same thing, 3 minutes or 40 pitches. And then the next round, the final, I think, is 2 minutes and 27 pitches. And then you can also get bonuses, like bonus time, depending on if you hit the home run X amount of feet.
I think they should go back to 10 outs. 40 pitches, 10 outs, I think would be really cool.
I like the out system the best. It's simple, it's streamlined, and it's more competitive to me.
Yeah, and now if you bring in 40 pitches but 10 outs, you're really putting pressure on your pitcher.
Yeah, I agree. And if you want to, you could set a pitch clock so they're not like, do the 15-second pitch clock. You know what I mean? Just like a regular game. Do something like that.
So who's your pick to win, Grant?
So, Pete Alonso's the betting favorite here. He's at plus 330. He's not really hitting the ball that well this season. And I know that this is nothing new. Like we've said this about Pete Alonso before. He's not having the greatest season. And then he comes in and he crushes the Derby because, the Derby's just glorified batting practice, and batting practice is not a game. You don't have to hit a slider down and away. You just got to hit a little rainbow over the middle and you can win the event. So I think Pete Alonso is the rightful favorite. But honestly, if I'm looking from a value perspective and a guy I like Gunnar Henderson, plus 475 there, 4th best odds, pretty much right in the middle of the field. He's, I believe, third in home runs in Major League Baseball. Only 23 years old, and that's always important to me when I'm looking at all-star events, whether it be the NBA, the MLB, whatever it is. You want a younger guy, a guy who's going to go in there and actually attack it, whereas some of these older players, I don't expect Jose Ramirez to attack this. I don't think he really cares. But I could see Gunnar Henderson going out there, putting on his best effort. So I think I would take Gunnar as my pick for this one.
So I think first thing you need to go with Pete Alonso, just because he's absolutely psycho when it comes to this event. Loves the deadlifting, loves the creatine, banging his head against the wall. He's feeling good, rock music. Like he wants to be here. And I think when it comes down to it, like talking about who has power, who doesn't have power, I think stamina plays into it a little more than power. Like stamina and power, that perfect combination, obviously. But my biggest factor of who's going to win this is like who wants to be here, because Gunnar Henderson, I think the winner gets $1 million. Obviously, that would be very good for Gunnar Henderson. It would be good for Bobby Witt Jr. Pete Alonso, I don't think he cares about the money as much. It's about the pride, but he still wants to be here. So finding those guys who want to be here, I think is huge. Like Marcelo Ozuna, he doesn't strike me as somebody who really wants to do this.
No, I agree, and he's having a good year. He's definitely having a very good year. I mean, I think he's also top 5 in home runs, and he's hitting 300, if not better, at the plate. So great year, but I don't look at him as someone who's crushing the ball every time. Despite that, Bobby Witt Jr., outstanding player. I don't see him as a home run derby type of guy. And to your point about the stamina thing, and also not to pick on Jose Ramirez again, but I think he's going to tire out. We saw this with Vladdy Jr., the more overweight players, the guys who don't run very fast or far. Adolis Garcia, he's not fat, but he's just a big dude. Like, I could see him tiring out. So, yeah, I think Pete and Gunnar, I think those are the top 2 there.
And honestly, if you're going on, like, you can't even go off like how they're playing this year because like, it's a different event. But like Pete Alonso shouldn't even be in it if we're going off home runs, but he just wants to be in it. Like he's openly said, like, I will be in the home run derby every single year. I think it should be mandated in their contract. If you're in top 10 home runs, you need to be in the home run derby. It used to be something they wanted to do. Now they don't want to do it.
It's the same thing with the slam dunk contest, and it hasn't happened to the same extent in the MLB because I'm looking at the home run chart right now. Gunnar is 3rd, Marcell Ozuna's 4th, Jose Ramirez is 6th. So like you do have some guys that are up there, but I mean, like I can't find anybody else. Teoscar Hernandez is 14th. Pete Alonso, I guess, is also tied for 14th. But I mean, some of these other guys, Bobby Witt Jr. is 32nd. You know what I mean? Like, why can't we just look at the top 10? Would Juan Soto and Rafi Devers and Christian Walker and Josh Naylor? You talk about somebody being a psychopath. Josh Naylor would probably do this. I mean, you were talking about Pete Alonso banging his head into the wall. We've seen Josh Naylor looks like he's on cocaine all the time. And we don't think that he would like to take a little swing at this event.
Oh, I think he would. A lot of guys would like to do it, but that's why if you're going off top 10 home runs, like you need to go off top 10 home runs. If you're not, let's just pick the guys out of everyone in this league that want to do it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So,
all right. How about this? Who do you think is going to get the lowest score in the home run derby?
Probably. Let me see. You can probably bet that too, can't you?
I don't know.
The market know. Market's got to step their game up a little bit for the home run.
You can bet on exit velo.
That is pretty cool, but they got to step their game up because you can't parlay a lot of it. You can't parlay really anything except name in the semifinals on FanDuel. Okay, so who do I think is going to have the lowest? I think Teoscar Hernandez is going to be actually better than people think. So I'm not going to say him. I think Alec Bohm, probably you have to say the lowest just because he doesn't have the meat on his bones. And like we've seen guys who just aren't that big. They really struggle. But Jose Ramirez, I think he's going to get really tired really quick. So I'd probably say Jose Ramirez.
Yeah, I'm with you. And also, again, like what we were just talking about, why is Alec Bohm in this? He has 11 home runs. That's tied for 89th.
Because he's an all-star. He's an all-star and they need somebody to do it. And he was okay doing it. But yeah, it's ridiculous. They shouldn't do it. But he's one of the best players in baseball. It's an all-star game. He needs to do it. And he's there.
Yeah. I forget. I wish I could remember who it was, but I remember there was somebody in the 3-point shootout one year who shot 33% from 3. And it's like you're not even trying to hide the fact this is not the most competitive field.
Yeah. What are you going to do? Alec Bohm, though, don't be surprised if he sneaks into if he snuck into the semifinals.
He can hit the ball. We know that.
Yeah. Any Major League Baseball player can have a great home run a great 3 minutes of home runs, especially if they have a pitcher putting it in the right spot, because that comes into it this year too. So we're taking this year a little bit, we're taking almost the stamina out of it too. And we're making a little more precision on it. So if Alec Bohm has a guy throwing in his wheelhouse every time, he can make it to the semifinals. It's not crazy to think he's just got to beat 4 guys.
I know we're coming up on a half hour here. And this isn't home run derby related, but it is all-star game related. Paul Skenes getting the start for the NL as a rookie. I don't know how closely you've been following his whole race for the Cy Young. I wrote in an article on it about a week and a half ago now. And basically the whole thing was when I had written it, he'd only played 10 games. And I think the next closest guy in terms of who'd played the fewest games, that was actually up there in Cy Young odds, was at 16. A couple more games have gone by. I mean, Skenes is 6-0, 1.9 ERA, 0.92 whip, the highest strikeouts per 9 innings in Major League Baseball. Like what he is doing at 22 years old is borderline unprecedented.
Skenes has been by far the best pitcher in baseball since he took the field. And if you're going to punish him when it comes to the Cy Young, if he can repeat this in the second half because he just doesn't have the same amount of innings as some of these other guys, I think that's a little bit of a disservice to him because truly he has been the best pitcher in baseball since he entered the league. So I would recommend betting him to win the Cy Young right now so you don't miss out. Like people that got him at 20-1 to win Rookie of the Year, that was the most free bet you're ever going to find in your life. So get on him right now so you don't have that FOMO like a lot of people do when it comes to the Rookie of the Year.
My friend got him at 2,000-1 to win the Cy Young before the year started when he was in the minor leagues. He put $10 down. If he wins that, he gets $2,000.
That's amazing. And he's got a very good chance of winning this award. Like I don't think it's too far-fetched if he can continue to do what he has done and potentially, give the Pirates a little spark and push them towards the playoffs. I don't think it's going to happen, but you never know.
No, I mean, I don't think they will make the playoffs, but the Cy Young is not. It's not like NFL or NBA MVP. It doesn't have to be the best player from the best team, anything like that. Cy Young is kind of its own standalone. We've seen Cy Young winners not make the playoffs before, but yeah, I mean, again, 1.90 ERA, 0.92 WHIP, 89 strikeouts in 66 innings. Like he is averaging more. If you look at all the batters he's faced, he struck out more than half of them.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. Unbelievable, Grant. Just like this show, Ride the Line. Unbelievable show.
It was a very good one. It was. I'm glad we got this recorded now because I'm gonna spend pretty much all of my free time playing that game later. I know that right now.
I'm definitely gonna play. I can't wait. I'm so pumped up. I'm ready to go. Ready to run through a brick wall. Grant.
Maybe my Houston Cougars will meet your UConn Huskies one day.
I'll be in the national championship pretty soon. I'm going to lead UConn to a natty pretty soon. Grant, take us out of here.
That's going to do it for this episode of Ride the Line, guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We know that it's a holiday. It is Home Run Derby Day, so make sure that you drop some comments. Let us know who's winning. Hit that like button. Subscribe while you're at it. We will catch you all in the next episode of Ride the Line.